is okay. Settings, edit. Is there no way to? There we go. Okay. Let's just open everything up here. Go.gg is actually working this time, so I can um see the games, the builds, the champions, the picks, the everything. I'll wait a couple minutes here and then get started. Should I just get started? I am kind of tired. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. I think my camera is a little off center. I think this is better. All right. Boy, oh boy. For both days, BLG 3-0, and then game one, the first match, goes to 5 games. You get 2 silver scrapes in 2 days. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, I'm very sad the Fourier lost, but honestly, they won in a way that I didn't really respect. Um, Obviously, as an honorary Brazilian, I'm crushed. The Fourier lost. I'm very sad that Thinkard lost. I'm very sad. I thought Toots is a really cool guy. Previous, Seiyu's teammate as well. Like, there's a lot of history and a lot of like youth in these like full Brazilian team. So it's a little sad for them to lose. But let's get right into the games. Game one, I thought that the draft was very interesting because it was sort of like a mid-game team fighty composition from Furia, right? Oh 07 Furia, yeah. It's sad, man. It's sad. I'm sad. Um Imagine if it was Cloud9, man. Cloud9 would have beat G2, would have beat freaking Yam, would have beat Furia. Apparently Cloud9 was destroying G2 and scrims too. They had to cancel scrims because they were getting destroyed. But yeah, like the Smolder pick, I was like, okay, so they're basically going to use everything that they have, the Zinzao, the Galio, and the Ari, in order to enable the Smolder to scale, right? Sort of trying to match the early game power from the Pantheon, the Talia, and they kind of did. They were bringing it back. Smolder had scaled, they were winning fights, but it was just very apparent that there was too much dive between the Rakan, the Pantheon, and the Rumble ult and the Talia ulting. They didn't have enough peel. The Galio was not enough. Zinzao couldn't ult them away. Ari could not charm. The entire game became, can you keep Ayu alive? Can you keep Smolder alive? Because he had 350 stacks at some point, right? He was way behind. And then he wasn't. They brought the game back. I thought it was going to be a very scrappy early game, and the mid game for you, we're just going to have better like setups, and it kind of looked like that, but they weren't able. C9 would beat BLG, hashtag copium. I don't know, man. BLG look kind of scary. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. It would be a very interesting intellectual challenge to like think about how Cloud9 would actually match up against BLG. But I do think BLG are just the better team. Uh, but yeah, they just Furia didn't have enough in the tank to protect the Smolder, and they lost. And I was like, okay, they're not going to do that. They're going to play a much better, more rounded composition with champions that sort of spike at the same time. They're not going to have like a one threat carry where, like, if you kill the Smolder, it doesn't matter if Ari's alive. It doesn't matter if Zinzao's alive. It doesn't matter if Galio's alive. You win, right? No one can really kill this Zaya besides Smolder getting splash damage on her. And so it didn't work. I can see why they did it, uh, but it didn't work. Then you go to game two, and more of what I thought would happen happened. They picked up the Jacks. They gave Gigu opportunities and like champions and tools in order to like play well. Kiaya destroyed him. Like, okay, Gigu destroyed Broken Blade. Kiaya destroyed Gigu. Does that just mean Kiaya does illegal things to Broken Blade tomorrow? I don't know. It's kind of scary, but yeah, like Kiaya we saw last world kind of gapped Impact, and people were like saying, Impact, how could you like die and get solo killed and be down levels to like a a minor region top lane? Like this guy's really good. Levi as well. Like they're just really good players. So when Broken Blade ends, it ends, but like Gigu did have a good game, you know? So you kind of have to recognize both. Like these top laners can compete more than Broken Blade can this tournament. But yeah, they give him the Jax. They go Wukong Annie, right? A lot more playmaking on the Wukong than the Xin Zhao necessarily. Xin Zhao is kind of more a follow up. Wukong can actually do his own engages. They pick the quirky Leona, which I was kind of surprised to see, but it does give them a lot of scaling and gives them like a good lane to push and roam and move and stuff. And they win the game. That game was like a very exciting game, but obviously it was like more of a stomp. They just got what they wanted and they were able to really, really push their leads. Then you go into game 3 and I'm like, okay, Giga was clearly outclassed, right? But they have a Kha'Zix. So are we really gonna lose? The same thing happens yesterday, where you have a Callista with a Nico up against an Ashe with a Seraphine. And guess what? The Ashe Seraphine wins every single time. And like, this is the second time they play it in the same tournament. Should have expected it. I'm assuming they thought that the Kha'Zix with alongside with the TF would be enough to counter out that, but then they just pick Silas and they have better ults. Like obviously Silas with T like doesn't have the greatest of ults besides Nico, which he utilized better than Nico. Like Silas, Nico ulted better than Nico. I thought at like Ashe Seraphine is just such a powerful lane that once you push them out of lane, like it was very very difficult to even get on them with the Kha'Zix, with the TF, with the Aatrox. So I thought they played that composition well yesterday. I thought they played the composition well today, and they take the 2-1 lead. I'm like, okay, very happy about my prediction. It's going to be a 3-1. They're going to lose a game, but it's okay. They're going to figure out like what their mistakes, and they're going to set up their team fights. They're going to like lose a little bit in the early game because they're going to skirmish a lot. They're not used to how much skirmishing there is in these international tournaments, especially from a team like GAM, and they're going to like figure stuff out. Then we go to game 4. Cassante 1v2 solo kills and laughs in the face of Gigu. Like the top lane gap was so big. And like first of all, normally when you split the map, because it happened multiple times where you split the map. You split the map, you're like, okay, I'll take his 3 camps, he takes my 3 camps, I go back into my side of the jungle, he goes back into his side of the jungle, and we completely control one side of the map. I'm controlling top side, he's controlling bot side. Viego just does a couple of camps, bases, and catches him on the 3rd camp. And then kills him. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you do to that as a jungler? You're like, I did this last game and I wasn't punished, and now maybe I didn't respect it as much. Like, as a Skarner, I don't have that same amount of speed. So that was a really heads up play by Levi. In addition, the Yasuo Alistar, like, it looked fine. It didn't look bad. I didn't think they lost the game because of it. Azir was in such a powerful position, but just like game 1, they did not have the tools to like protect the Azir, right? Azir was finding himself sandwiched between a Cassante, a reset Viego, a Braum having his passive on him, and a LeBlanc putting the chains on. And like, what do you do in that situation as an Azir? Like, you want an Ornn and an Alistar in front of you, or an Ornn and a Leona, a Nautilus, some sort of engage that can also peel for you in front of you. You want your AD carry to be by your side, and you want your jungler to have some sort of peeling, whether it's a Wukong ult, a Xin Zhao ult, a Vi ult, some sort of like even a Skarner ult, like you can E and ulti them away. You want some sort of method of engage as well as peeling and keeping yourself safe. He has Skarner. He has a Renekton who's just straight up paper because Cassante is tankier, does more damage, and outscales him. His Yasuo is not exactly the type of AD carry that like Yasuo needs to ult in. Yasuo needs to be in. Yasuo needs to like glide. He can't just stand next to the Azir and be protected by Azir ult. He has to be on the other side. He has to ulti off of Azir ult, off of Alistar knockup. Alistar kept getting the good knockups. Yasuo would ult, no damage, no follow-up. Azir had so much damage that game. He had so much damage that he was like 3,000 gold ahead of the LeBlanc. Literally 2 auto attacks, and the person needs to base. And they didn't have the tools to protect Azir from flanks, from the resetting like Viego, and it just yeah, it just didn't go through. I thought the that if the enemy team picks Viego and they don't ban the Trundle, which they did on 4-5, right? You pick Trundle and then you just ult the Viego, and it doesn't matter if Viego gets a reset because Trundle ult persists through Viego resets. And Viego will be a piece of paper. I'm not kidding. 3 Azir auto attacks kill you. If you're Viego, right? This was Glass Cannon Viego, by the way. He went what's it called? He went Triforce into Collector, into Shield Bolt, like 0 HP. Triforce gives you 333 HP, 0 MR, 0 R. Like he would literally be a piece of paper to Azir. And then it doesn't matter if he like gets an Alistar reset. It doesn't matter if he gets a Yasuo or Skarner reset. He's just a piece of paper. But they weren't able to do it. And then I kind of got nervous. I was like, okay, they lost game 4. They had a lead. They could have won the game. They had a very powerful Azir. Like, good teams do not lose when their mid laner is so fed. They figure out ways to enable, like, this is another thing in solo queue that people often like mention, if you want to climb, learn how to get carried. Like if someone's doing well, camp their lane. I remember there was a game I was playing Briar, not to compare myself to a pro player. I was playing Briar, right? I get invaded by a Trundle top lane who kills my Shen level 1 and then comes up to me on my camp. Oh no, it was that was a scrim. Never mind, I'm confusing. It was a Warwick who I pressed W on my red buff, my blue buff, and then he just happened to show up, kills me, right? Graves was the 80k, the jungler on the other side, took all 3 of my bot side camps, pushed me off level 1. I'm literally level 1 with W, like no camps taken. To Graves is like 12 CS, goes back into his jungle. I take my wolves, can't even take my Gromp or my blue buff because Graves goes around, and literally all I do is my bot lane was playing Akshan Yumi, and all I did that entire game was I made the bot lane's life hell. I camped them. I was like 42 to 100 CS. It didn't matter. I was a CC bot. I just kept diving them. I kept going 1 for 2. Didn't matter if I was dying. I played to my bottom lane's win condition and I got carried. Right. And I even like typed in like, look, I have no other play. I have 0 camps on my side of the map. I'm going to be in your lane. I'm going to gank for you guys, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to be going for these dives. So let me tank. I don't care if I die. And it worked out and we won the game. And I feel like this was one of those games where you just have to let Azir, like obviously it's a very different scale, but you just have to let the Azir carry. And they weren't able to do that. And they weren't able to peel the smolder. They weren't able to like have their front line in place, in position, with the knowledge of like, protect Azir. Because you saw Azir at some point was like, I have to go in and ult or else I'm going to die because I have a flanking Cassante. It was just going to ult me. I have LeBlanc on this side. I have like too many threats that are just focusing me, right? And then you go into game 5. And again, they're out on a lead. They have a lead. They have a very strong bot lane in Ezreal Karma. They have the lead. They're pushing. I think they do outscale with the Kassadin, right? You could say, oh, well, Orianna scales quite well. Kai'Sa scales quite well. Nefiri scales quite well. Bard, like, will always have that playmaking with his ulti. GP scales extremely well. I don't know about the Trundle and the Gnar. And it's like, yes, but like Kassadin had 3 early kills. Kassadin had 3 early kills. Like at some point, like but he was level 16 by like 25 minutes or something. He was really powerful. I think he got 5 kills at some point. And then Ezreal Karma just like is a very good bottom lane. Like it's not like a Jinx. You know, if it was a Jinx, I'd be like, okay, what does a Jinx do to Orianna with a freaking Nefiri and a GP ult on top? Like a Jinx just like 100% will die. Like you can't do anything unless you have, I don't know, unless you have like a Melio. Melio might be the one champion that could protect this, right? Maybe you could argue they could have picked Melio. I don't know. Ezreal Melio doesn't really sound like a great bottom lane. Maybe it is. It is a Kai'Sa, and like Kai'Sa in general. Anyways, it's not merely about the matchups. It's about the fact that you get these leads, but you're unable to use these leads to win the game. And they did it for like a good 20 minutes. And then that Orianna Nocturne. It's not a Nocturne, it's a Nefiri, but Orianna Nefiri combo. It gets them on that top lane after they, like, after the Otacon. And like you could feel all hope right there. They lose 4 people. You could just tell it's over. Like the entire lead didn't matter. it doesn't like Nefiri is going to kill whoever she gets her hands on. Ezreal Kama cannot live. Nar is just getting solo killed by GP. Like he's just been getting gapped the entire time. Trundle is completely and entirely useless. Like you pillar someone, they just kill you. Right? The idea behind Trundle is that in the 1v1, if he presses R on you, you are a piece of paper and he was going to beat the crap out of you. Right? That is the power of Trundle. But in this situation, Trundle's like 2 levels down. You press R on Nefiri and like, okay, like now what? You think you're gonna beat me? Like I'm just gonna stall out your R and you're gonna die. Or my Bard is gonna ult you. My Kaisa, like Bard couldn't really ult Trundle, which I understand. You pick that because you're just faster, right? You press W, you like run at 450 move speed. Bard ult never is gonna touch you. Yes, Ezreal can E, Karma can speed up, Kassadin can ult, Nar has his hop. Very difficult Bard game. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. It was very disappointing, and I think they overperformed for sure to like expectation, right? Expectation was like you're gonna get 3-0'd both time. Like it doesn't even matter. You're gonna be the worst team. They ended up being the worst team. Yes, they lost both their best of fives, but it was so close to winning both. Like one or two little changes in the first series, one or two little changes in the second series, and they win. And they're playing tomorrow. It's just sad to be so close here so far, and it's like the Brazilian tragedy. So many times this happens where I when I mentioned this to ThinkGuard, I kind of felt bad because I was telling him how like they gave us hope, like INTZ when they beat EDG game 1 of Worlds 2017, and then they didn't win a single game afterwards, right? I didn't say that part, but it kind of gave the same vibe, and that kind of happened. So yeah, I don't know what more to say about that. I predicted them to win. I thought that they had the tools. I thought they had the discipline and the macro, and it kind of fell through. I really feel like if they could peel the Smolder a little bit better, if they could peel the Azir a little bit better, if they played around the Kassadin a little bit better, they win those games. And I think they're going to be kicking themselves because yesterday it kind of was a very similar story where like game 2, sure they got stomped. Game 3 was very winnable. Game 4 was like game 5 was extremely winnable. Like it was in their hands. And I don't know, like it's hard not to be disappointed if you're like if your first game is you absolutely stomp G2, you have Neela popping off, you have like literally your top laner's absolutely breaking Broken Blade's back, right? Making him broken. And then you have a game 3 where you're so close to victory, your Lucian Nami is like popping off, your Rumble's doing damage, and then like you win the game 4, you go into game 5, and you just like you throw it all away, a second dragon. It's so Brazil is sad today. Brazil is sad today. But you got to move on. We get BLG versus G2. I haven't listened to the press conference, but I like because I'm doing this, but I will um listen to the press conference between BLG and G2, and if it's interesting enough, I'll upload it. Obviously, I didn't get a one-on-one interview. I have a Gen G Ruler interview tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I've never interviewed a Ruler because, well, last year he didn't make any international events, so it's gonna be really cool. Getting to interview Ruler. I'm still waiting on my Bin and Knight interviews. I got Elk. I've gotten On before. I've never gotten Jovi, but yeah, I mean everyone wants Jovi, right? So we'll see. I got Lehens. He's not here this time. Have I gotten Keen? I got Keen before. No Canyon. So it's Canyon, Chovy, and I guess Duro on this lineup that I haven't interviewed, but I'd be more interested in the Canyon and Chovy than the Duro, just because history. But yeah, excited for the Ruler interview. As for the BLG versus G2 esports, my god, man, Europe is legit crying. That's cool. Oh man, Ben Doran. I haven't gotten a Doran interview, and I really, really, really want a Doran interview. Um, I've been in press conferences and asked him questions, but never like a one-on-one. I really do want a Doran interview though. Like, I I don't remember who I requested from T1. I think I requested maybe Faker and Doran, or maybe Owner and Doran. I think I requested Faker knowing that I wasn't gonna get him, but I mean, I've been requesting Fakers since the beginning of like since last year, and it's hard to get Faker. and Chovy and like these super high profile um League of Legends player. It's difficult. But yes, G2 versus Bilibili Gaming. Game one, Bilibili is just like you could tell that G2 comp, if it gets online, Aurora, like you just put your alts, Aurora alt, Leona alt, or an alt, like how can play? What is Rumble supposed to do when you just completely get one shot? What is MF supposed to do when you just completely die to the Aurora, to the to the freaking Ornhorn? Like, what are you supposed to do? And G2 were so close to winning the game. They were like 5 auto attacks away from killing the Nexus. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, why'd you make that call? You could have went." Like it really looked like it was an end angle. Maybe they played a little bit differently. They do. Do I think they would have won if they took Dragon and they went for another team fight? Probably. Honestly, probably. But you see the end angle, you go for it. I respect it. It just really is really sad that it ended the way it would. Owner and Doran, yes. Yeah, it would be. It was so like it reminded me, if you guys remember, last MSI, there was a T1 versus G2 games, right? There were two of them matches. The first one went all five. The second one 3-0 T1. The first game was so similar where later the Faker on Azir TP'd and backdoored and killed the Nexus with like the last auto attack, right? And then they ended up getting 3 0'd. And as soon as that happened, as soon as that base race goes wrong, or not base race, but like that end attempt goes wrong, you can tell, like, oh my god, this is going to be another 3-0. This is going to be a 3-0. But it's going to be one of those demotivating 3-0s where, like, oh man, if we just changed it a little bit, we could have won. It's so hard. Like, I thought that Skewmond and LeBron played much better than yesterday. I thought BB played better than yesterday. I still think he's not playing the level that he's normally at. I thought Caps played well. I thought Hansama was playing well. But just I was talking about this yesterday. BLG have a way of like organizing their team fights and their skirmishes in a way where like they're always in the positions that they want to be. They get caught in positions they're not supposed to be, and then like 3 seconds later, they are all in position. They figure out their battle lines and they draw their battle lines very, very, very well. And it's just so crushing that this G2 roster, like Caps, for example, like year after year, just has these heartbreaking losses. Game two, they get the Viari, they get the Sivir, they get Jax, and honestly, just it. Both games were relatively close. Both games, you could say, if they played a little bit better, they could have gotten a win, right? They got the Jackson to Sion, didn't really get much out of the Jax side. The Sion was kind of running it, right? The Nico had really good ults. The beginning of the game was really rough, but like you could tell as the game progressed, they were like coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, and then it all fell apart. And like game two was obviously like not as bad as game one, where like it felt G2 straight up had the game in their hands, made a call, and it backfired and they lost. Game two wasn't really like that, where it's like, yes, you had some leads, yes, you were able to make some good plays, but overall, it felt like BLG had the control most of the time. The Talia was strong. The what's his name? The Varus was like quite powerful, right? Even the Scion, like, yes, you could kill eventually with the Sivir, but you saw like by the end of the game, obviously there was like a 7,000 gold lead or whatever. Like that, the end of the game is like not really where you want to look because that's not where because the game was already out of their hands by that point. But like Sivir was like just hitting, nothing. Just like you can hit 1,000 times and you're just not getting through them. They got Ocean Soul as well, which like once you get Ocean Soul, it's like how are you ever gonna kill like Karma Shields on the Scion with his like 1,000 HP extra passive with his like shield giving him like probably 1,300 shield every like 8 seconds and Skarner, and it's a little too much. Game three was a stomp. Game three was like you're all inning on Broken Blade. You're giving him tools to win because he needs to play better. It can't all be on Caps. You give Caps his TF. Like BLG are like, you know what? We have an answer to your TF. Go ahead. Play your TF. We banned it game one. We don't care. We're just so much better than you. And they give him the TF and he plays the TF and I mean, you can see why. Like he was ulting around the map, but it really didn't do much because the rest of the team was kind of collapsing. Right? The Trundle wasn't exactly like Trundle into Poppy. Obviously, you want to play the Trundle side because you can ult the Poppy, and then you're very very tanky. You don't have to build tank. You can go Triforce. You can go like the Ravenous. You can go these items. Um, you can ult the Renekton, and you can kill the Renekton with. You can easily dive him alongside your ulting Olaf. Olaf that's level 1. My man Knight literally starts Flash Cage and kills the Olaf because he has no flash. And you could tell from right there, game's over. Like, you pick Olaf because Olaf needs to dominate the Renekton, needs to be diving him under tower, taking like 4 plates before plates end, needs to be absolutely destroying this lane. Because it needs to be able to 1v2, 1v3 if you try to gank him top lane. And you have to have Trundle by your side. He presses R for you, like, you completely take over the game. Because, like, at the end of the day, there's no CC. Right? There's no actual like Anivia wall. There's no Azir ult where you can put it on the other side and walk through. There's nothing that you can there's no like Knight doesn't have a Talia he can ult out. He's not playing an Ari that he can ult out. He's not playing an Azir that he can shift out. He's literally playing Veigar. What is Veigar gonna do with a fed Olaf running up your face with Sterax, with W shield? What are you gonna do? You press R, it's gonna go through his Sterax like he's not gonna die. He's gonna drain tank you and kill you. That wasn't the case. Knight had a Medjai's, Knight had Deathcap, Knight had Shirelia's, Knight was chilling. And the Olaf was just so weak. And it's not the fact that this Olaf is a bad pick. I really think it was a good pick in this game. I just think you didn't give them the tools but you gave them the tools, but they don't know how to use them. Like, I understand you didn't have Ghost, but you're still not winning that top lane matchup. I don't know. Like, maybe you could argue that the fact that he used Ghost made it so that the game was over, like for him top lane. I don't know. I don't know how that matchup goes. It's probably a very delicate matchup. Renekton is a relatively strong early game champion, but it's just really sad to see that the magic, the spice that we're used to from G2 isn't there. BB isn't playing the way we need him to play, like he played last MSI. Labrov is nowhere near what Mickey was. And Skewmond is like a budget inspired. I don't know how this G2 roster this year, like if this is a 2-year project and by year 2, like next year MSI, we're like comparing, sure. This is a very difficult comparison to make, and I don't know. It's hard to be optimistic for G2 this tournament because, I mean, they struggled against Furia. We'll see what happens with Gam. I think they have the tools to beat Gam. If they played better than they did, they won. If they play better again, I think they can win. But I think there's a legitimate chance that Gam takes the series. And that's scary to say because this is G2. I was wrong last time, so I'm not going to predict the upset this time. The reason being is one thing that I noticed from Gam was the amount of experience, and like you could tell that Kiaya and Levi had so much experience, and it really showed in their games that that experience mattered as opposed to the counterpart. International experience, titles, like years of playing the game at the highest level. And I think in this lineup, you have Caps. And I trust Caps to overcome, to play so well that he puts this G2 team on his back. That's sort of what I'm saying. He has to put this team on his back. If he cannot do that, if Caps cannot play all Caps, then I don't know. I don't think they win. But then they play Gen G. I mean, you'd rather lose to Gen G than lose to Gam, right? I know that you literally get demolished by Gen G. I mean, you lose to Gen G and then you most likely play FlyQuest afterwards? Like, you get demolished 3-0, you go 6-0. I mean, either way, NA is going to be proud, right? I don't know. This G2 teams needs to they need to figure out how to activate Caps more because the Skewmond experiment isn't working. He's full clearing. He's a budget inspired. You don't need inspired playing with Caps. you need someone much more powerful. You need someone who empowers rather than plays for themselves. Skewmond focus. Skewmond wants to be strong, which is very different than what Yike does, which he wanted Caps to be strong. And I think unless you enable Caps, this team it has to be a Caps team. It has to be. He's always been your best player. He's going. I mean, okay, sometimes Mickey was better, but you know what I mean. He's always been a star player, and like he's the reason G2 wins titles. So I don't know what you do. Yeah, and it should be FlyQuest is better than last year MSI. Oh, for sure, it's way better. I actually think FlyQuest are gonna surprise. I don't think they're gonna take series off the East, to be honest, but I think they'll make the series competitive. And I think by Worlds time they will be able to take a best of 5. That's my prediction. Like they continue to learn and improve and iterate, which is something that we've seen FlyQuest do, which we haven't seen from a lot of NA teams. So I have faith in FlyQuest. Do I think that they can beat like no Jensen getting? Yeah. Hopefully no substitutes happen after this FlyQuest. After MSI, we're not gonna have a new bot lane or top lane. Oh my god, Rachel. Didn't they sign a Turkish top laner? What happens if you do well at this MSI and then you go back and you're like, oh, we're gonna start subbing in this new top laner? I really hope they don't do that. I really hope they wait until they let Whippo play until the end of the year, and then they can bring in that top laner if they want to replace Whippo. Whippo wants to go to coaching. Whippo wants to play on another team, whatever it is. Yeah, of course, as long as they keep it up, they'll be fine. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm gonna wait until MSI ends, and then we'll worry about this Geikos. I think is the guy's name, or I don't know what the guy's name is, but yeah, FlyQuest signed a new top laner, and maybe it's like a rookie kind of thing where like they had Qua. I don't know what they plan on doing. I don't believe the fact that they want to do a 6-man roster. I think they were looking to like put pressure on Bippo because he was playing poorly, and I don't know. I could just be BSing, but it is a little bit scary. It is a little bit scary to think that after MSI, FlyQuest might change their roster again. Like, can you please stop changing? What happened? Oh, that's an old message. I was like, what? That scared me. Yeah, I think that it's kind of annoying to have so much roster. Was that the 6-man roster they were talking about? Yes. So they brought in a top laner who's like supposed to be this mechanical kid that they're gonna like start splitting time with because of Fearless. Now you can like have Whipple play his champions and he plays different champions. I I I do think that is a strategy. I just don't want them to do it this year. Can you wait until next year, please? I mean, I don't know, right? I'm not like an analyst. I'm not an expert in the game, but I would prefer if you just wait until next year. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for MSI hot takes. Not too many hot takes today, right? I think the hot take would be G2 lose, but I don't know if that's as hot as it was yesterday. So we'll see. I do have a ruler interview tomorrow. I'm gonna go prep for that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have a lot more hot takes because, well, if G2 loses, the takes are gonna be spicy, and if G2 win, we'll have all the matchups right in front of us, and I will have talked to some players and gotten some behind the scenes info, and hopefully gotten some cool hot takes based on some like rumor scrimbooks. But yeah, thanks guys for